Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Ismael. Today we're going to go through past perfect tense. I'll take you through what past perfect tense is, how past perfect tense is formed, and the different situations where you use past perfect tense. So the when of when you can use it. Let's start. So what is past perfect tense? The past perfect tense refers to a time earlier than before now. It is used to make clear that one event happened before another in the past. Now, it is important to note that it does not matter which event is mentioned first. What's important is to note that the past perfect tense makes it clear which one happened first. So the situation or the event which uses the past perfect tense is the event that happened in the further past. It's the event that happened first. So how do you form the past perfect tense? Now that's quite simple. The past perfect tense is composed of two parts. Had, which is the past tense of the verb to have, and the past participle of the main verb. Now, let's look at the example over here. Like I have mentioned, to have as the main verb, then would have to have had as the past perfect tense, because had is the past perfect of to have. If you look at another example over here, if the verb is to see, you need to put the had plus the participle of the verb see, which in this case would be seen. As for the present tense, you'll have see. For the past tense, you'll have saw. And the participle of see would be seen. Of course, in the last column, you'll have the negative of the past perfect. This is quite simple. The negative, to make it negative, you just need to put in the not in between, the had, and the participle. Now, let's test ourselves. What you need to do now is to scan this QR code, or you can also type in this web address to visit this website where you can test yourself on how much you have understood so far. All the best. I'll see you in part 2. Back. I hope you have completed your test and am proud of your achievements. Now, let's move on. You have learned what past perfect tense is and how it is formed. Let us now look at when the past perfect tense is used. As earlier mentioned, it is used when there are two completed actions that took place in the past. For example, you have two events. Event A is the event that happened first, and event B is the second event or more recent event. So let's look at the example over here. John had gone out when I arrived in the office. In this case, John had gone out first before I arrived in the office. Although both events took place in the past, event A took place in the later or further past. Thus, event A uses the past perfect. Let's look at the other example sentence over here. When we arrived, the class had already begun. That indicated that the class began first before we arrived. These are other examples where you have two events. Event A is the event that took place in the further past. B took place in the nearer past. Let's look at the examples here. The first example, I had saved my document before the computer crashed. Here, it's quite clear that he was lucky enough to have saved his document first before his computer crashed. Although saving his document was mentioned first in the sentence, it was the event that happened in the further past. Let's look at the second example. When they arrived, we had already started cooking. In this situation, you started cooking first and then they arrived. In the last example, he was very tired because he hadn't slept well. Here, again, the event that occurred in the further past is him not sleeping well, resulting in him being very tired. Thus, not sleeping well uses the past perfect tense. The second situation, when the past perfect tense is used, is when you have a period of time before an event in the past. For example, we had owned our house for 20 years before we sold it. Thus, you had owned the house for a period of 20 years before it was sold. As such, you use the past perfect tense to indicate the period of time. Similarly, for the second sentence, I'll had that car for 15 years before it broke down. Thus, the past perfect tense is used to indicate the time period of 15 years that you had the car before it actually broke down. The past perfect tense is also used in reported speech when you convert direct speech to indirect speech. It is also used in the if clause of the third conditional. For example, if it had rained, I would have bought an umbrella. In this situation, the past perfect tense is used in the if clause as a condition to you having to buy an umbrella. In the next example sentence, if you had studied for the test, you wouldn't have failed. Again, the past perfect is used in the if clause to indicate the condition for you not having failed. In the next lesson, we'll spend more time in class to study the use of the past perfect in the if clause of the third conditional. So, remember to do your homework so that you're prepared for class. So, your homework is to visit the site below to find out more about the past perfect tense. The website will shed more light on past perfect tense so that you are much clearer and it consolidates what has already been taught through my slides so that you are ready for class tomorrow. Till then, see you in class and thank you.